CO2 emissions create stronger storms, droughts, rises in sea level, and increasing surface temperature each year. The G20 is made up of 19 countries and the European Union. By 2030, Canada hopes to phase out traditional coal-generated electricity, which causes the highest numbers of CO2 emissions in the electricity sector.
In 2016, Canada's energy sector directly employed more than 270,000 people and indirectly supported over 600,000 jobs. The energy sector amounts for almost 7% of nominal gross domestic product. Government revenues from energy were $12.9 billion in 2015. Almost $900 million of that was spent on energy research, development, and deployment by governments in 2015 to 16.
Canadian subsidies for fossil fuels are $3.3 billion annually. With this, the government is paying $19 per ton of CO2 emissions to fossil fuel companies. This contradicts the planned price reduction based on the UN G20 Paris Agreement. This means that by the year 2022, it will cost the government $50 per ton of CO2 produced by these companies. This is all money that could be put towards clean technology and other productive sources. In terms of grants, there are very limited for solar products and energy in Canada. Each province operates on its own level and has their own budget for renewable energy. In general, homeowners can earn rebates. They can earn up to $6,500 in Ontario, but the average rebate is $1,600 in Canada. Another way to make money back is to sell your energy to the grid. To do this, the government requires that you file the sales as income.
Nova Scotia Power is the main provider of energy in Nova Scotia, with approximately 95% ownership of the electricity generating systems and grid lines within the province. Residential homes that have solar energy products installed are connected into the grid lines, where data is collected by Nova Scotia Power. The problem lies within how the data is collected. The company has one location to collect their data from solar products that are connected, making the results show a volatile fluctuation pattern of energy collection. One solution that Nova Scotia is applying is that they have purchased large battery packs from Tesla to use as a storage for the energy produced from a wind farm in Nova Scotia. This is a pilot project that will determine if the battery packs will make up for the volatility in production that is caused by weather. Hopefully in the near future, this can be applied to solar farms as well.
Solar City Health program that offers property owners at HRM the opportunity to mitigate the upfront capital cost of innovative solar energy options, which can be financed through a solar collector account as a local improvement charge with the Halifax Regional Municipality. Officially, Nova Scotia offers rebates and finances to residential homeowners on services, products, and installation. This makes homes more efficient, restores streams and watersheds, engages youth green transportations, mitigates the effects of stormwater, it helps communities reduce waste, and contributes to public policy discussions.
The cost for building a conventional power plant is about $700 million. Comparable to a coal gas plant costs about $975 million. And compared to a 1 megawatt PV plant, it would only cost $1.5 million to build. This shows a great difference in building costs and operating costs for natural gas, coal, fossil fuels, and the cost of carbon emissions.
The Nova Scotia Community Feed-in Tariff, a program encourages community-based renewable energy projects by guaranteeing a rate per kilowatt hour for the energy that feeds into the province's distribution electrical grid. Between 2011 and 2016, more than 100 community partnerships successfully established renewable energy projects throughout Nova Scotia, collectively creating 150 megawatts of community-owned power, enough to provide electricity to more than 14,000 homes.
Halifax Regional Municipality's Community's Energy Plan, originally put together by the city in 2007. The outline was a comprehensive energy plan that be actioned over 10 years. In the plan itself, we found a major flaw. There was no financial plan to help the community integrate the clean energy. The document stated that the money would be collected by donations and through investors who wish to help the city. This is a passive approach that had no public relations outreach to members of the community.
Over the last few years, the world's superpowers have been making a strong push for renewable energy, and a large part of the solar projects. In 2016, the global output of solar energy increased by 75 gigawatts, bringing the total to 301 gigawatts, resulting in 33.2% global increase in a single year. China, the United States, and Japan have been leading the way and contributed the most to these increases.
Canada has been making a strong push for solar energy in the recent years. As of 2015, the capacity of solar energy has risen to 2,240 megawatts. Looking back to 2010, the average increase per year is about 13.8%. Eventually, if every residential building in Canada were to have solar panels on the roofs, that would account for 50% of all electrical needs for the entire country.
The Nova Scotia Community Feed and Tariff worked well for the province, but no longer accepts any applicants. This is a successful project that encourages residential owners to connect to the grid line and purchase solar technology. There is currently a petition within the province to continue the project. If successful, will allow more people to integrate to renewable technology and install solar homes.
Renewable energy companies, small companies, startups, individuals, and people who wish to have clean technology country. If the large energy producing companies wish to change their energy sources, they could also benefit from the change, as they could use renewable energy to power the energy for the country, while using excess amounts of raw material to sell internationally, which would grow our economy.
Canadian government and the companies that produce CO2, because they generate a large amount of income from their operations and help grow the country, as energy is one of our two major exports and productions nationally.
The gaps that we have identified is that the provincial government is Scotia based on inaccurate data that was provided by Nova Scotia Power, which is data that is isolated to one location instead of spread out through the entire province, making the data inaccurate and volatile looking. For Canada in general, the major exports and imports is energy, which is raw materials. To change that towards renewable energy, Canada needs to allocate funding for subsidies towards renewables rather than the CO2 emissions.